Hey folks, welcome back to In the Studio With. Today we're taking a look at a 1960s Kay electric guitar, Archtop. This belonged to a friend's father, and now it's hers. Something I'll point out here, if you're taking the strings off one of these bridges are unpinned typically, so you got to make two marks as reference points, because as soon as the tension comes off the strings, you can move that bridge around. So make two little marks there. And with these little knobs, they get old and brittle, so be careful when you're taking them off, especially if they have a thin edge on them, because we want to preserve the look of the guitar by using the old knobs. When I took this guitar home, I thought initially, it just needs some neck adjustments, and it should be good. And I was soon to find out that was not the case. But we're going to give it a real good clean up everything. It has one of these big, fat, old P90 pickups in it, and just a really, really cool pickup. And I'm probably going to do this video in two parts. This part I'm just going to talk about the issues in this guitar, and in the second part I'll actually give you some sounds and some playing and tell you about this spanky fat P90 style pickup. I'm just spraying some contact cleaner down in these pots, which are in really bad shape, and with enough doses the material is indeed seeping down the shaft of these and getting down into that pot, and the more I do it, the more I can feel the pot freeing up, and that's no doubt going to result in less noisy pots. Right now they're pretty staticky. So I just keep spraying it down there and keep working it, and you can feel them freeing up. Just going to use some soapy water and clean up the parts, the truss rod cover and the knobs, and carefully put them back on. It really retains the look of the guitar. When it came in, it only had 5 strings on it, and I'm not going to bother putting new strings on it right now. I'm just going to replace that high E string that was missing and remove the remains of what was formerly known as the high E string. And I thought that it was just going to be a truss rod adjustment, so I didn't have a Gibson style truss rod wrench, so I went up to Michael Barrett's shop, and I'm sure enough he had one and sold one to me, and that set me up. But it turns out that I wasn't going to wind up doing any truss rod adjustments anyway. Say hi, Michael.
Hey, how are you doing?
Groovy, man.
Nice to see everybody here.
Oh my goodness, these are so old, they're flathead. Haven't run into that in a while. See, the problem here was not so much the curvature of the neck, but the fact that either somebody took this off and put it back on, didn't know what they're doing, or they've made a shim in there that isn't quite right, but there's a gap between the neck and the body all the way down, huge gap. So basically all I did was make an adjustment to the one set of screws to try and put more of a tilt on the neck. But the neck is not stable. It really needs to come apart and see what's going on in there, and then remedy it. It's a little deceiving because of the curvature of the neck, but these strings are really high. So when I was trying to date this rig, it turns out nailing down the exact year for Kay guitars from my understanding, is somewhat impossible because apparently Kay didn't release their inventory catalogs or the way they worked their numbers as to what numbers corresponded to what year or what month or what's even to some degree somewhat series. And there's just a lot of confusion about Kay serial and model numbers. So I actually had to look up individual characteristics of the guitars. And so with this one, this headstock was used from the early 40s to the late 60s. But this style of Kay and the head of the truss rod being a Gibson style truss rod head lends itself to the 60s. The bolt-on 3-screw necks started around 1961. If there was a fourth hole here called the micro tilt adjustment for the neck, then that would be late 60s. So this tends to be early 60s. So based on all the little things that I found and little bits of information, I would say this was about a 1962. It's a great little guitar. Needs some work, but they are very interesting. So I'm going to check with the owner, see if they want to put any money into getting this neck set up properly and find out what's going on in there. And if they don't, that's all good and cool too. I'll just adjust just the little bit that I can, just enough to get tone out of it so that you can hear what it sounds like. And I'll do that in the next video. Thanks for dropping by. We'll talk to you soon. I'm just going to go outside and make some noise. You gonna eat that?
Swiping at the pine tree, missed the turn, and that was
individual.